These are the worst types of Warzone players. What's up guys, it's Average Ol, making average content for the average viewer, and today I wanted to take a look at some of the absolute worst types of Warzone players. The bottom dwellers, the people that just make you want to scream. During your time in Warzone, you will have undoubtedly come across these players, and when you have, some of them will have left you feeling frustrated and annoyed, whereas the others will have left you wanting to track their IP address and go to their house, and then as they lie in bed peacefully sleeping without a care in the world, you begin to aggressively shout, "Buy station here, buy station here," over and over again right in their little ear. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what you believe to be the worst type of Warzone player. Let's get on with it, shall we? Number 1. The COD God. Okay, so maybe this one seems a little unfair to be in a worst types of Warzone players video, but hear me out. This guy is a genuine Call of Duty demon. He's sitting on a 3.0 KD and has over 100 wins. Everything he touches seems to turn to gold. In real life, he has his life together, a good job and a nice house, and even though he works hard and has a family, he still finds time to be an absolute beast on Warzone, playing on his 50-inch TV in his living room. Now, I know what you're thinking, well that's not so bad, he sounds like a good teammate to have. Well, that would be true, if it wasn't for the fact that you put in twice the amount of time as this guy and try your hardest to get better at the game, but every time you check your stats, you notice that they pale in comparison to this guy's. And even though you once thought of yourself as being a top tier COD player, now this guy makes you wonder why you even bothered to buy a 120Hz monitor, and you turn your LED backlights to blue and sit crying as you get another second place. Number 2. The Loot Thief. We've all been there. You land in a fairly secluded area, you've stayed in the air a little while to scope out your surroundings and make sure it's just you and your squad, and you land in one of the 5 buildings and go to open your first loot crate. You tap it open and you get that little spike of dopamine as you see the loot spill onto the floor. Ooh, a juicy little P90, maybe some armor plates and about 2 grand. Oh, what the The random squad mate with a super original Joe Exotic gamer tag slides in front of you and hoovers up all the loot like a hungry bloody hippo. Now, you give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, maybe he didn't see the other 4 vacant houses that surround you. Maybe he's just scared of being alone and wants to stick right next to you. But more than likely, maybe this guy is just a knob jockey. Number 3. Mr. Not My Fault. Look, I get it. Sometimes when you die, you might feel like it was a little unfair or perhaps even a bit suspicious. But I'm going to tell you that there is no way that every single death that you have is due to a cheater or some sort of lag. Sometimes you just have to accept that you were killed by a better player. But not this guy. This player will make you sit in a lobby after your team gets wiped for a full 5 minutes to check the movements of the dude that killed you for any sign of aimbot or wall hacks. And if they get killed but you stay alive, do you think they're giving you clear, concise callouts telling you where they just got killed? Like fuck they are. Forget that, they are too busy screaming down the mic like an autistic seagull squawking the word hacks before immediately taking to Twitter to tweet Infinity Ward telling them that their game has been ruined by cheaters and that they're never going to play their piece of crap game again. That is of course until you buy them back and get to hear their second favourite excuse, that the game always gives them a massive lag spike when they have the perfect headshot lined up. Look buddy, I know that dying can be frustrating, but maybe, just maybe, you're not quite the player you think you are. Sorry pal. Number 4. The Pusher Man. All Battle Royale games ultimately come down to a couple of things. Luck, positioning, and decisions, and Warzone is no different. As the game progresses, you will be forced to make a number of decisions that will literally make the difference between winning or losing. Sometimes the best play is to sit and wait for an enemy to expose themselves or make a mistake, and sometimes your best bet is to full send it and push them hard. But try and explain this to the Pusher Man and your words of reason are immediately shot down by them calling you a pussy and giving you some shit story about how they don't care about wins, they just want to go for kills because it's more fun. Plus they've been watching loads of Scump plays and actually he always pushes and has over 100 wins. And then he proceeds to push a full team on his own with nothing but his M4 and a dream, and guess what? He ends up doing his best impression of that slutty girl from your high school and gets absolutely smashed by all 3 of them at the same time. But that's not even the worst part. Now you're a man down trying to fight a full squad that this goon has just put on high alert, but now you can't even hear the gunshots let alone the footsteps because this gimp is in the gulag giving you shit down the mic acting like his failed Rambo mission was all your fault. Knob. Number 5. The motherfucking cock-sucking little tiny prick face. This last type of player is going to be way more familiar to you than you would probably care to admit. This type of player is fast becoming the number one issue with Warzone and is giving your games a more frustrating ending than Game of Thrones. I mean seriously, nearly a decade of character arcs and epic battles and it boils down to a final scene that has about as much depth as a teaspoon. And that is of course the Akimbo 357 user. Now before I talk about this one, I do just want to point out that I got these clips in Plunder because I didn't want to ruin some poor soul's BR experience and ultimately be responsible for any domestic violence. So nothing strikes fear into the heart of a Warzone player like the sight of someone absolutely booking it towards them with 2 green lasers coming out of their hands and knowing that no matter what they do, they are only 2 shots and half a second away from being a pile of guns, cash, hopes and dreams on the ground. I mean look, I know these things are in the game and everyone has the right to use them, but when you've just spent the last half an hour of a game getting 15 kills using pure gun skill and wit, and then you run into a building in the final circle and get blasted in the ass by some absolute Joey sat in the corner with these 2 cancer cannons, it's not hard to get a little bit triggered. So if you're the type of guy who sits in a corner hugging his 357s like your firstborn child, I have a little message for you. I hope that you forget to put your phone on charge, which makes you late for work, and then you have to rush your morning coffee, which makes you burn the tip of your tongue, and then when you finally get to work, you have to send a letter, and as you lick the envelope, you get a paper cut, and just when you think it couldn't get any worse, I hope you're washing your hands and you splash water on your beige trousers and everyone in the office thinks that you've pissed yourself. But yeah, each to their own, I guess. Anyway, that's it for my worst types of Warzone players. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure if you know anyone who fits these types of players that you get them to watch this video and change their ways. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you'll know that I like to see who sticks around until the end. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down below. Out of these 5 types of players, who do you think is the absolute worst? Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.